pristine wilderness, brimming with challenge and wonder, a labyrinth of life where vitality pulses and fades with the rhythm of the seasons. In this raw and untamed world, the gray wolf prowls in silence, shadowing the panicked footsteps of a fleeing deer herd. Beneath the ice, the gray seal dives through frigid waters in a desperate search for survival. Above, the golden eagle soars across a boundless white sky, a silent sentinel of the north. This is the Baltic, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, a majestic tapestry of dense forests, sprawling marshlands, and lush green meadows. Untouched beauty, shaped and reshaped by the turning of the seasons. Together, these lands form a harsh yet captivating landscape, poised on the edge of transformation as they await the arrival of spring, the next chapter in nature's enduring story. Welcome to the Baltic, survival in a pristine ecosystem. Winter in the Baltic is a season of stark desolation, a frozen, forbidding land, as barren and unforgiving as a place of exile. Here, fierce battles for survival unfold in the silence of snow-laden forests and windswept plains. Through drifts several feet deep, the gray wolf moves with ghost-like grace, each step a careful calculation. Its piercing gaze cuts through the darkness, waiting, silently, patiently, for the perfect moment to strike. In the distance, a herd of Eurasian elk, each weighing nearly 1,000 kilograms, forages for scarce scraps beneath the icy crust. Every step is measured, every breath alert, for in this land, even the smallest lapse could mean death. High above, a Eurasian lynx perches in the trees, its watchful eyes fixed on the scene below. Meanwhile, the broad wings of a golden eagle spread wide against the somber sky, circling silently like an unseen shadow. Beneath the frozen surface of the Baltic Sea, the gray seal glides through frigid waters, slipping past danger in a realm where predators drift just beyond sight. Here, every heartbeat is a test, every breath a triumph. Nature has carved this realm to challenge its creatures, pushing them to the limits of endurance and resilience. And still, life finds a way to stretch onward, defiant and enduring in the cold. The summer sun breathes life into the Baltic forests, casting a lush green glow across the landscape. This once stark wilderness transforms into a vibrant sanctuary teeming with activity. Mixed woodlands, covering over 30% of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, flourish with Scots pine, Norway spruce, birch, and oak. High humidity and generous sunlight create a haven for biodiversity. More than 500 species of fungi and lichens thrive on ancient tree trunks and within the wetlands, offering food and shelter to countless rare beetles and insects. Beneath the forest canopy, chanterelle mushrooms and boletes erupt in abundance, forming a natural feast and playing a vital role in the ecosystem's food chain. As summer settles over the Baltic, the haunting howls of gray wolves echo through the dense undergrowth. Within the tangled shadows and narrow woodland paths, young wolves born just months earlier begin their journey of survival. Gaining strength, they now take part in learning essential life skills. Wolves typically live in packs of 6 to 10, functioning as tightly knit family units. Each member, from the dominant alpha to the youngest pup, plays a role in a sophisticated system of cooperation and responsibility. Weighing between 70 and 130 pounds and stretching up to 5 feet in length, gray wolves are equipped with thick, double-layered coats. These not only protect them from the harsh winters and sweltering summers, but also help them blend effortlessly into the deep green hues of the forest. During short hunting exercises, young wolves practice tracking, identifying prey, and testing fundamental hunting strategies, training that is vital for the pack's survival. In the warmth of the Baltic summer, it is not just brute strength, but precision and teamwork that ensure success. When larger prey, such as deer or elk, is sighted, the wolves launch a coordinated strategy. The pack fans out, steering the herd toward an ambush zone. Working as one, they isolate the weak, while the strongest wolves launch decisive attacks. They pursue their targets with relentless determination, often tracking them for over 15 miles across unforgiving terrain, through marshes, dense forests, and uneven ground. The howl of a gray wolf can carry as far as 6 miles, serving both as a declaration of presence and a vital communication tool. These long, haunting calls help maintain cohesion within the pack and deter rival groups from encroaching on their territory. Each hunt is a masterclass in strategy and instinct, a vivid demonstration of nature's raw intelligence. In the Baltic wilderness, every movement, every sound is part of a greater story, one of survival, unity, and the powerful legacy of the wolf pack. The warm days of summer transform the forests and meadows of the Baltic into rich hunting grounds for one of its most cunning predators, the red fox. Small in stature but remarkably agile, this solitary hunter thrives in a landscape bathed in dappled sunlight and shadow. Adapting effortlessly to a variety of habitats, from open grasslands and marshes to dense woodland, the red fox uses every corner of its environment as both a playground and a proving ground. With keen instincts and unmatched versatility, it forages not only for rodents, but also insects, berries, birds, and their eggs. During these abundant months, mother foxes take on the role of teachers. The forest, teeming with fruit and insects, becomes a natural classroom where kits born in spring begin to learn essential survival skills. From tracking prey and catching beetles to uncovering food hidden beneath the underbrush, each day becomes a lesson in self-reliance. This summer marks the beginning of a rigorous, instinct-driven education, an unspoken curriculum preparing them for life on their own. As autumn approaches, young foxes sharpen their craft. By now they've developed refined hunting strategies, often lying in ambush, waiting patiently for the perfect moment to strike. One of the red fox's greatest assets is its exceptional hearing. Its ears, capable of rotating independently, detect the faintest rustle beneath thick foliage, even the subtle movement of a mouse 10 feet away. Combined with extraordinary agility, the fox's signature hunting move, a high, sudden pounce, becomes an effective tool. With a leap reaching up to 6 feet, the fox lands with deadly accuracy, pinning down prey in grasslands or forest clearings. As the final days of summer slip by, the red fox begins to build energy reserves in preparation for the leaner months ahead. Yet even in abundance, it remains alert, masterful, patient, and precise. With sharp senses and unmatched adaptability, the red fox continues to thrive, quietly fulfilling its vital role in the intricate web of life at the heart of the Baltic wilderness. Both forest ecologists and curious travelers find themselves drawn to the beauty and mystery of the Baltic bogs, timeless wetlands where every detail tells a story of resilience and adaptation. Formed over 10,000 years ago, during the last ice age, the ancient bogs of Estonia remain remarkably untouched, covering nearly 20% of the country's surface. Shaped over millennia, these wetlands have become living museums of natural history. In summer, delicate white blooms of cotton grass unfurl like a soft, windswept carpet across a sea of vibrant green sphagnum moss. The effect is serene and otherworldly, a quiet, striking landscape of life suspended between water and sky. Winding through the bogs, small streams and still pools form a labyrinth of water, creating a rich mosaic of aquatic habitats. This rare ecosystem is a sanctuary for a wide array of wildlife, both seen and unseen. Among the most fascinating plants here is the carnivorous sundew. Growing in nutrient-poor soils, it has evolved a remarkable strategy, absorbing nitrogen by capturing insects. Its glistening dew-like droplets lure unsuspecting prey before slowly digesting them, a vivid symbol of nature's ingenuity. Together, the cotton grass and sundew are silent witnesses to a world where survival depends not on dominance, but on the art of adaptation. In the stillness of the bogs, life persists with quiet determination and enduring marvel in the heart of the Baltic wilderness. In the Baltic wilderness, summer breathes vitality into the forests and wetlands, transforming them into a dynamic network of streams, lakes, and bogs, shaped and sustained by one of nature's most industrious architects, the Eurasian beaver. With over 7,000 lakes and countless streams threading through the Baltic landscape, water becomes both a lifeline and a landscape. These wetlands provide an ideal habitat where aquatic and amphibian species, like frogs and newts, flourish in balance with their surroundings. The Eurasian beaver, a master engineer, plays a vital role in this transformation. With skill and instinct, it sculpts the terrain, building dams that slow water flow, create still ponds, and establish thriving micro-ecosystems. These ponds help retain water during dry spells and offer critical shelter to a wide range of species. Small fish, insects, and migratory birds such as herons and kingfishers all depend on the habitats beavers create. Covered in thick, waterproof fur and equipped with a broad, paddle-like tail, the Eurasian beaver is perfectly adapted to its aquatic life. Its tail serves not only for balance and navigation underwater, but also as a warning signal, slapping sharply against the water to alert others to danger. Summer is a season of relentless activity for the beaver. It tirelessly fortifies its dams and expands its lodges. These structures, often standing 2 to 3 feet high and stretching for dozens of feet, create stable ponds that raise soil moisture and ensure a reliable water source even during the driest months. As herbivores, beavers favor willow, aspen, and birch. Their tree-felling activities help manage forest growth, creating sunlit clearings where other plants can thrive, thereby encouraging greater biodiversity. The impact is far-reaching. As trees fall, meadows emerge, and with them, new life. The wetlands shaped by beavers become sanctuaries, rich breeding grounds for amphibians like the common frog, and havens for myriad species that rely on still waters and thick vegetation to survive. In this ever-changing mosaic of water and wood, the beaver stands as a quiet force of creation, its presence echoing in every ripple, every croak, and every rustle among the reeds. In summer, the Baltic wetlands come alive with sound and spectacle. Among the season's most extraordinary events is the arrival of the great snipe, a bird famed for its rare and dramatic lekking display. In this captivating ritual, male great snipes gather in open meadows, showcasing their vitality through rhythmic wing beats and calls that echo nearly a mile across the landscape. Under the open sky, their performance becomes a mesmerizing dance of endurance and precision, drawing the attention of selective females. Only the strongest, most impressive males are chosen, ensuring the preservation of robust genetic traits within the species. As the wetlands awaken, they transform into a vibrant paradise for migratory birds, from dense forests to the still, nutrient-rich waters of the marshes. This mosaic of habitats offers food, shelter, and sanctuary. The Baltic becomes a summer haven, a crucial breeding ground where life is renewed and the next generation takes flight. Among the most elusive of these summer residents is the black stork. Unlike its more sociable cousins, the black stork is a solitary breeder, preferring the remote embrace of quiet woodlands. It seeks out calm, deep waters where fish, frogs, and insects are plentiful. In these secluded wetlands, pairs build large nests high in the trees, often 65 to 100 feet above the ground. Constructed from branches and lined with grass and moss, these nests form warm, protective cradles for their eggs. Throughout the breeding season, black stork parents remain fiercely devoted. After an incubation period of 35 to 40 days, their hatchlings stay nestled in the treetop sanctuary for up to 70 days. During this time, the adult storks provide constant care, teaching their young to feed, fly, and eventually survive on their own. While the chorus of other birds may fill the Baltic air, the black stork remains quiet, almost spectral. It does not gather in flocks or court attention. Instead, it chooses solitude, investing every moment of the short northern summer in raising the next generation, ensuring the silent legacy of the species continues to glide above these timeless waters. In the heart of the Baltic marshes, the Eurasian crane brings a burst of energy to the breeding season. With elegant precision, these majestic birds perform intricate mating dances, rituals that blend beauty and biology. Their resonant calls, audible for miles, echo across the wetlands, both to attract mates and to assert their territory. Each performance is a spectacle, graceful bows, sweeping wing flaps, and synchronized steps that seem to enchant not just their partners, but the very landscape around them. During this season, Eurasian cranes build their nests on floating patches of vegetation, crafting sanctuaries from grass and aquatic plants. These delicate platforms cradle just 1 or 2 eggs per season, and both parents take part in the incubation and protection of their precious young. Once hatched, the chicks remain close to their watchful parents, learning to forage in the shallows until they are strong enough to take flight. Summer offers abundance. The marshes brim with earthworms, insects, grasses, and tender roots, an open banquet for the cranes. With long, deliberate strides, they wade through shallow waters and dig into the soft mud, replenishing the energy needed to raise the next generation. But as the golden days of summer draw to a close and the first chill of autumn sweeps across the Baltic, the cranes prepare for their long journey south. Their departure leaves the wetlands quiet once more, a silence that settles over the land as winter draws near. As autumn arrives, the Baltic forests ignite in a blaze of warm golds, deep reds, and earthy browns, like a living oil painting. Birch and oak trees surrender their leaves to the wind, scattering them across the damp ground in a soft, rustling cascade. These fallen layers of mulch nourish the soil and create fertile ground for one of the forest's most abundant treasures, mushrooms. From golden chanterelles to the stout boletus, hundreds of species emerge in a seasonal feast that nourishes both wildlife and the forest floor. Amidst this seasonal transformation, the steadfast green of Scots pine and Norway spruce remains unchanged. These evergreen sentinels, resilient to the coming cold, stand tall as symbols of endurance, ready to face the biting months ahead. Within this intricate ecosystem, nothing is wasted. Every leaf, every patch of moss, every layer of mulch plays a part in nature's timeless rhythm. The Baltic autumn is more than a transition. It's a symphony of renewal and decay, a time where life braces for the stillness of winter. This season also signals the beginning of a quiet battle for survival. For the roe deer, small and agile, autumn is a time of preparation. Standing no more than 34 inches tall and weighing between 35 and 75 pounds, their compact bodies allow them to slip silently through the undergrowth, foraging for whatever energy-rich resources the forest offers. Grasses, hazelnuts, and fallen acorns become lifelines, helping them build vital fat reserves to endure the long, lean months ahead. As daylight wanes and the shadows deepen, roe deer grow ever more alert. With heightened senses of smell and hearing, they detect the faintest signs of danger. Moving cautiously, they melt into the underbrush, their dappled coats blending seamlessly with the fading colors of the forest. Agile and swift, they are built for escape, darting through the dense Baltic woodlands with astonishing grace, always just out of reach of predators lurking in the twilight. In September and October, the powerful calls of the red deer echo through the Baltic forests. As Europe's largest and most commanding deer species, the red deer stands as a symbol of strength within this ancient ecosystem. Thriving in the dense deciduous and coniferous woodlands of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, these majestic animals find sanctuary in forests rich with vegetation and abundant water sources, an ideal haven for their survival. Beneath the autumn canopy, the season's abundance allows red deer to prepare for the cold months ahead. They feed on grasses, shrubs, fallen acorns, and beech leaves, building essential fat reserves from nature's final bounty. These energy stores are vital, sustaining them through the challenges of winter. Typically grazing at dawn and dusk to avoid predators, red deer maintain the safety of the herd through cautious movement and keen awareness. With males standing 4 to 5 feet tall at the shoulder and weighing between 330 and 530 pounds, they are imposing figures in the forest. Their antlers, stretching up to 3 feet in length, are not just for show. They are weapons in the fierce battles of the rutting season. Autumn marks the height of their breeding season. It is a time of heightened social tension and territorial displays. Males begin to roar, a deep, resonant call that can carry for over a mile. These powerful vocalizations assert dominance, attract mates, and challenge rival stags in a primal contest that reverberates through the Baltic woods. Victorious males gather and defend groups of females, forming harems and establishing a temporary but vital social order during this critical season. Under the alpha's watchful eye, the herd moves with cohesion and caution, relying on his strength to evade predators and ensure their collective survival. As the air turns colder and the forest floor begins to harden, the red deer, guided by instinct and ritual, continue their ancient cycle, one that has echoed through the Baltic wilderness for generations. In the heart of the Baltic forests, the commanding presence of the European elk, known as the moose in North America, resounds through the wilderness. Towering at an impressive 5 to 6.5 feet at the shoulder and weighing up to 1,300 pounds, the European elk is the largest member of the deer family in Europe. As autumn descends, the forest becomes a stage for fierce battles between rival males. Their massive antlers, which can span up to 6 feet, are wielded as powerful tools in dramatic clashes for dominance. These battles are not merely displays of strength. They determine access to mates and the future of the herd. As dusk falls, the elk's haunting calls echo through the forest, a bold declaration of territory and vitality. When 2 males cross paths, the forest stills. Then, with thunderous force, they collide, antlers crashing in a test of endurance and power. The victorious male earns the right to lead a harem, shielding the females for rival suitors and passing on his genes to the next generation. This ancient ritual preserves the genetic health and resilience of the herd. But autumn is not only a season of rivalry. It is also a time of preparation. As temperatures drop and the days shorten, European elk focus on building reserves for the harsh winter ahead. They graze on nutrient-rich vegetation, leaves, grasses, and the soft bark of aspen, willow, and birch. Blueberries and lingonberries provide essential nutrients, helping them store fat to survive the freezing months to come. In this dynamic season, the European elk exemplifies the strength and adaptability required to thrive in one of Europe's wildest and most unforgiving landscapes. In the golden hues of Baltic autumn, the wild boar emerges as a fierce contender in the forest's timeless drama. Males engage in intense territorial battles, each one marking its domain and vying for access to females. Only the largest and strongest, the true warriors of these ancient woodlands, earn the right to pass on their lineage, preserving the strength and vitality of the species. Within the marshes and shallow waters of the Baltic forests, wild boar find ideal foraging grounds. These secluded spaces offer safety from predators and an abundance of food. Guided by an extraordinary sense of smell, they detect nourishment buried deep within the earth, roots, tubers, and fungi, all unearthed with their powerful snouts and muscular forelimbs. Yet their digging does more than feed them. Like living plows, wild boar churn the soil as they forage, aerating the forest floor and enriching its nutrients. In doing so, they create space for seeds to germinate and young plants to flourish. These unassuming forest dwellers play a quiet but crucial role in the ecosystem, not just surviving, but shaping the very land they roam. Wild boar are more than foragers. They are the gardeners of the Baltic forest, enhancing biodiversity and ensuring the forest continues to thrive with vitality and life. As autumn descends upon the Baltic forests, the landscape transforms into a fierce arena of survival. Even the apex predators, rulers of the food chain, must act with urgency. In this season of scarcity, energy must be gathered quickly to endure the long, unforgiving winter ahead. Throughout the forest, eerie calls and silent movements echo beneath the turning leaves, a wild symphony of life and death. This is the season of the hunt, where the Baltic's top predators display their mastery. Among them, the wolves rise first in chorus. Their chilling howls carry through the dense woodland, a declaration of presence and power. With a population estimated at around 1,000, packs of wild gray wolves roam freely through forests, grasslands, and marshes. Each day, they work together to secure food for the pack, an effort that demands precision, coordination, and endurance. Wolves live in tightly knit social groups of 6 to 10 members, led by an alpha pair. Their teamwork is exceptional, allowing them to bring down large prey such as roe deer, wild boar, and even the formidable European elk. Their senses are finely tuned, able to detect sound from afar and pick up scents from over a mile away, giving them an incredible advantage in the dense Baltic wilderness. When wolves are on the move, prey must adapt. Deer and boar shift their routines, retreating into deeper cover and less exposed terrain. This constant pressure contributes to a natural population balance, ensuring the health of both predator and prey. Meanwhile, another predator stalks the forest in silence. The Eurasian lynx, one of the most elusive and skilled solitary hunters, takes a different approach. With a population of around 1,000 spread across Estonia and Latvia, the lynx maintains its presence through patience and stealth. Camouflaged among the fallen leaves, the lynx observes its surroundings from the shadows. Its tufted ears amplify sound, and its eyes pierce the dusk, detecting the faintest flicker of motion in the gloom. As night falls, the lynx begins its silent pursuit. Step by step, it edges closer to its target, never breaking the silence of the forest. Then, with a sudden burst of power, it leaps, graceful and deadly, up to 10 feet in a single bound. Its prey, often roe deer or young wild boar, rarely has time to react. The lynx's strength and agility allow it to take down animals much larger than itself. Even on the uneven ground of the Baltic forest, in this ancient woodland, autumn is not merely a season, it is a test of survival, skill, and strength. And as the leaves fall and the cold draws near, only the most adaptive predators will endure. The Baltic Sea is home to an estimated 30,000 gray and ringed seals. As autumn unfolds, its rocky coastlines transform into bustling gathering grounds for these marine mammals. Among them, the gray seal, the largest seal species in Europe, dominates the scene. These powerful animals, some weighing up to 880 pounds and stretching as long as 8 feet, come ashore in tight groups. Huddled together on rocks and sandbanks, they seek warmth, safety, and solidarity. This communal behavior serves a vital purpose. By staying close, the seals reduce stress, conserve body heat, and increase their chances of survival against both the cold and lurking predators. Their mottled gray fur offers excellent camouflage against the rocky, ice-kissed backdrop of the Baltic, allowing them to blend seamlessly into their coastal surroundings. The shallow waters, reefs, and scattered islands along the coasts of Estonia, Latvia, and Finland form an ideal habitat, a sanctuary where these seals can feed, rest, and prepare for what lies ahead. As autumn deepens, the urgency of the approaching breeding season grows. By late autumn, every movement becomes part of a larger mission to build strength and store energy. Females begin accumulating fat reserves in preparation for pregnancy and nursing, while males brace themselves for fierce territorial battles and competition for mates. The calm before winter hides a coming storm of primal rituals, where survival, strength, and reproduction take center stage in the frozen heart of the Baltic. Autumn ushers in a season of sweeping change across the Baltic Sea, as thousands of seabirds embark on their epic migratory journeys from the north. In this transitional time, the Baltic becomes more than just a body of water. It transforms into both a sanctuary and a springboard for countless avian travelers. Strategically positioned along major migratory routes and rich in natural resources, the Baltic Sea serves as a vital stopover for birds journeying from the colder reaches of Europe to the warmer climates of the Mediterranean, the North Sea, and even the distant shores of West Africa. It is here, in this critical corridor, that nature reveals one of its most awe-inspiring spectacles. Vast flocks of black-headed gulls gather in the shallow waters and mudflats, forming vibrant, dynamic scenes along the coast. Hundreds of birds feed, rest, and prepare for the challenges ahead, their movements painting the landscape with life and motion. While many continue southward, some remain in the region, thanks to their adaptable nature and the Baltic's relatively stable food supply. This communal behavior not only boosts their chances of finding food, but also helps protect them from predators. By staying in groups, they increase their odds of survival in an unpredictable and ever-changing environment. Such flexible migration strategies reveal the remarkable resilience of these birds. With every wing beat, they navigate shifting weather patterns and dropping temperatures, adapting swiftly while making the most of what the Baltic Sea has to offer. A fleeting yet crucial refuge on a long and perilous journey. As autumn sweeps across the Baltic, the skies and seas come alive with movement. Among the most remarkable travelers of the season is the Arctic tern, the holder of the longest migration in the animal kingdom. From the northern reaches of the Arctic to the southern extremes of Antarctica, these elegant birds begin their southward journey, covering tens of thousands of miles. To survive such an epic voyage, Arctic terns must build up substantial energy reserves. The Baltic Sea offers an ideal feeding ground, rich with small fish and crustaceans, allowing these birds to fuel up before continuing on. Their lightweight bodies and long, slender wings enable them to glide effortlessly, taking advantage of prevailing northern winds and ocean currents to reduce resistance along the way. Flying in flocks provides protection from predators and allows for cooperative navigation. Their adaptability is key to their survival, allowing them to shift their routes in response to adverse weather over vast stretches of ocean. Meanwhile, dominating the coastal waters of the Baltic is the great cormorant, a large, striking waterbird with glossy black plumage and expansive wings. These expert underwater hunters gather in flocks along shallow coastlines and rocky shores, where fish like herring, goby, and cod are plentiful. Their dark feathers absorb warmth from the sun, helping them recover heat lost during repeated dives into the frigid sea. Each cormorant can consume up to 2 pounds of fish daily, vital for storing the energy needed to endure the colder months ahead. With the ability to dive as deep as 30 feet and hold their breath for over a minute, they are perfectly adapted to hunt even in low-light conditions beneath the waves. A familiar sight on autumn shores is the cormorant perched on a rock, wings spread wide to dry. This iconic behavior serves a vital function, preserving body heat and preparing them for yet another dive into the chill of the Baltic waters. In the bitter cold of the Baltic winter, survival becomes a daily challenge. As snow blankets the forest floor and temperatures plummet, the creatures of these northern woodlands are forced to adapt or perish. The vast forests, dominated by Scots pine and Norway spruce, offer more than just shelter. Their thick canopies protect against snow and wind, while the understory vegetation, from pine needles to mosses and lichens, provides vital sustenance when other food is scarce. Each species faces winter with a common goal: conserve energy, gather what nutrition remains, and reduce risk. For roe deer, this means relying on their thick, double-layered coat. A soft inner layer traps heat, while the coarse outer coat shields against the biting wind. Typically solitary in warmer months, roe deer form small groups in winter, an adaptive strategy that improves their chances of survival. Living in groups not only helps them locate food, but also increases vigilance against predators like gray wolves and Eurasian lynx. Their sharp ears detect danger early, allowing them to avoid unnecessary movement and preserve energy during the coldest days. To endure the long, harsh season, roe deer adjust both diet and behavior. They seek shelter within dense conifer stands and minimize travel. As green plants vanish beneath the snow, they turn to pine and spruce needles, bark, and lichen. Although not nutrient-rich, these conifer-based foods can make up as much as 60% of their winter diet, just enough to sustain them through the lean months. Wild boars, too, are well equipped for the cold. A thick coat and a generous layer of insulating fat help them withstand freezing temperatures. They adapt by shifting their foraging to the warmer midday hours, avoiding the bitter chill of night. With their powerful snouts and muscular legs, wild boars dig beneath layers of snow, sometimes as deep as 10 inches, in search of food. Roots, tubers, and even earthworms become critical sources of energy, giving them a competitive edge in the icy forest. In these frozen woods, survival is not guaranteed, but through remarkable resilience and adaptation, the animals of the Baltic forest endure, their quiet struggles unfolding beneath the snow-covered silence. In the unforgiving cold of the Baltic winter, survival demands both resilience and adaptation. Among the forest's most elusive predators, the Eurasian lynx has evolved a remarkable suite of traits to endure these icy months. Its thick, soft fur offers superb insulation, allowing it to withstand temperatures as low as -22 Fahrenheit. This dense coat also blends seamlessly with the snowy landscape, providing the lynx with perfect camouflage, shielding it from potential threats and allowing it to approach prey unseen. Adapted for movement across snow-covered terrain, the lynx's large, padded paws function like natural snowshoes. They distribute its weight evenly, preventing it from sinking into deep snow and enabling it to move silently as it stalks its next meal. Winter transforms the Baltic's wetlands and lakes into expansive, frozen plateaus of white, a serene yet perilous world. Thick layers of ice, sometimes up to 12 inches deep, seal off the waters below, creating a hidden sanctuary for aquatic life and a vital rest stop for migratory birds. Above this icy stage, predators like gray wolves and Eurasian lynx move with deliberate stealth, hunting overwintering waterfowl such as mallards and geese. The frozen Baltic landscape becomes a paradox, both a refuge and a battleground for survival. Among those wintering in this harsh environment is the mallard, or wild duck. Despite the freezing temperatures, these hardy birds exhibit extraordinary adaptability. Unlike many of their migratory counterparts, mallards are partial migrants. Some individuals remain in the region even as lakes and marshes freeze over, relocating instead to coastal waters that stay ice-free due to the movement of waves and currents. These open water areas serve as crucial refuges, granting access to food and fresh water throughout the depths of winter. To cope with the scarcity of resources, mallards adjust their diet, feeding on whatever the environment provides, from algae, moss, and lichen to aquatic vegetation found beneath the surface. Recent studies highlight this dietary flexibility as a key factor in their survival through the Baltic's frigid winters. As the months drag on and food supplies dwindle, mallards conserve energy by gathering in large flocks. Not only does this behavior help retain body heat, but it also provides safety in numbers, enhancing the group's ability to detect predators and locate scarce food. On frozen surfaces, mallards adopt a unique posture, tucking their legs beneath their bodies to reduce heat loss. This, combined with a specialized circulatory system that minimizes heat transfer in their legs, enables them to endure standing on ice or swimming in near-freezing water. Each adaptation tells a story of perseverance. In the Baltic's cold embrace, survival belongs to those who can adjust, endure, and thrive against the odds. At this time of year, the greater white-fronted goose embarks on an epic journey, migrating from its frozen Arctic feeding grounds to the milder coasts of the Baltic. Fleeing the biting northern chill, these resilient birds gather in vast flocks, feeding and resting on frozen lakes and marshes along the way. Their flocking behavior is a finely tuned survival strategy. While it increases their efficiency in foraging, it also offers vital protection. Each goose takes a turn as sentinel, scanning for danger. At the slightest threat, a warning call echoes through the flock, triggering a synchronized takeoff that confounds predators. Their feathers are perfectly engineered for these harsh environments. Thick and waterproof, the outer layer repels moisture, while the dense down beneath traps heat and keeps the body warm. This natural armor shields them from the freezing winds and frigid waters of the north. As winter deepens, the Baltic transforms. A thick crust of ice seals over thousands of lakes and rivers, sculpting a breathtaking yet brutal frozen wilderness. In places like the Gaja River in Latvia, with its distinct red sandstone banks, the temperature can plunge to a bone-chilling -30°C. Even waterfalls freeze mid-cascade, creating surreal, crystalline landscapes reminiscent of an icebound world. Beneath the surface, life finds a way. Natural ice holes become crucial breathing portals for the Eurasian otter. Agile and resourceful, the otter can carve small openings in thinner ice, granting access to the world below. With astonishing grace, they swim beneath the frozen surface, navigating a labyrinth of submerged passageways in search of food. The Eurasian otter is a marvel of adaptation. Its dense fur, up to 20,000 hairs per square centimeter, forms a waterproof shield that insulates against the cold. This dual-layered coat prevents freezing water from reaching the skin, maintaining the otter's core temperature even during long, icy dives. In winter, fish comprise up to 80% of the otter's diet. But with waterways sealed by ice, they must shift their hunting tactics. Slower-moving fish like carp become prime targets, easier to catch in the sluggish cold. Otters can dive as deep as 15 to 20 feet and hold their breath for up to 4 minutes. using their agility to pursue prey through underwater channels before surfacing again through precious air holes. In the heart of winter, the dense canopy of Scots pine and Norway spruce blankets the Baltic forests like a green suit of armor. These evergreens form a protective layer overhead, shielding the forest floor from harsh winds and frost. Beneath this shelter, a slightly warmer microclimate forms, an oasis of life in a frozen world. The coniferous canopy plays a vital role in sustaining forest life through the cold season. Birds perch on high branches, expertly prying seeds from tightly closed cones with their strong beaks. Thanks to this green refuge, they conserve precious energy and endure the Baltic's unforgiving cold. Among these hardy survivors, the red crossbill stands out for its extraordinary winter adaptations. With its distinctive crossed beak, it effortlessly extracts the fat-rich seeds from the cones of Scots pine and Norway spruce, an essential source of warmth-giving nutrition. These seeds, high in oils, provide the energy needed to endure freezing temperatures, allowing the red crossbill to remain in the north while other species flee south. A highly mobile bird, the red crossbill moves continually in search of new cone supplies. When resources run low in one area, it quickly relocates to another. In early winter, these birds increase their food intake and store fat reserves beneath their skin, fuel to see them through days when foraging becomes nearly impossible. Meanwhile, other birds take flight from the cold. Chaffinches, in particular, abandon the northern Baltic in search of warmer climates and more abundant food. They gather in flocks and glide through the forest canopy, using the dense pine and spruce foliage as shelter from biting winds. But even as they migrate, some linger in the forest, taking advantage of the conifer's offerings. During winter, chaffinches shift their diet to include seeds from coniferous trees. Fallen cones and cracked seeds scattered across the forest floor become vital food sources. When snow carpets the ground, they forage through the leaf litter, searching for hidden insects to supplement their diet with much-needed protein. In this frozen world, survival belongs to those who can adapt, those who can find warmth in the cold and nourishment where it seems none exists. In the unforgiving grip of the Baltic winter, the golden eagle faces some of its greatest survival challenges. With prey scarce and the land buried beneath snow, these apex predators are pushed to their limits. To endure, they expand their range and, when necessary, turn to scavenging, feeding on carrion as a vital alternative to fresh kills. As the icy season begins to ease and the first signs of spring emerge, golden eagles enter their breeding season. By early February, courtship rituals unfold across the Baltic skies, with pairs performing aerial displays and calling to one another over the silent white forests. Their nesting instincts follow soon after. Golden eagles construct massive, durable nests, often perched high on cliffs or atop tall trees such as Scots pine and Norway spruce. These robust structures, sometimes reaching 5 feet in diameter and 3 feet deep, serve as a protective haven. Built to endure the elements, the nests shield eggs and chicks from punishing winds and heavy snow. At the same time, the Baltic Sea transforms into a tranquil and surreal expanse. A thick crust of ice stretches across the water's surface, blanketing the sea in a vast, unbroken sheet of white. Surface water temperatures plunge to between 28 and 34 degrees Fahrenheit, causing northern and coastal regions to freeze over. This icy shell, while forbidding to the eye, plays a crucial role in survival beneath the waves. It insulates the waters below, slowing heat loss and creating a more stable environment for marine life to weather the winter. Beneath the frozen stillness, life continues, sheltered from the bitter cold above. During the coldest months of the year, as icy winds sweep across the Baltic, gray seals gather around drifting ice floes, natural platforms where they rest, mate, and bring new life into the world. Winter marks the beginning of their birthing season. From January through February, pregnant females seek out isolated ice floes or remote, uninhabited islands to give birth. These secluded spots offer safety from predators and minimize disturbances, giving newborns the best chance of survival. To endure the brutal cold, gray seals are equipped with a thick layer of blubber beneath their skin, nature's insulation and energy reserve. This blubber acts as both a barrier against the freezing temperatures and a backup food source during times of scarcity. Their dense, waterproof fur further protects them, retaining body heat even during frigid underwater dives. The outer coat repels water, while the inner layer traps warmth, allowing them to thrive in some of the most challenging marine conditions on Earth. Once a pup is born, the mother becomes a vigilant caregiver. She nourishes her offspring with rich, fatty milk that fuels rapid development. In just 3 short weeks, the pups grow to a remarkable 80 to 100 pounds, developing the strength they need for the harsh life ahead. After this brief but intense nurturing period, the mother departs, leaving the young seal to fend for itself. Alone, it must now navigate the icy waters of the Baltic Sea, learning to forage, evade danger, and survive in one of the most unforgiving marine environments in the Northern Hemisphere. After the long, silent days of winter, spring begins to stir in the Baltic region. Like a gentle breath over a frozen world, it awakens rivers that have slumbered beneath thick sheets of ice. As the snow melts, each droplet joins the swollen currents of the Dauva River in Latvia and the Neris River in Lithuania, transforming them into powerful, surging torrents. Water temperatures rise from freezing to around 45 degrees Fahrenheit. And with this rise comes a flush of oxygen carried deep into the riverbeds. These rejuvenated flows, rich in silt, minerals, and organic matter, pour into shallow lakes like Lake Vortsjarv in Estonia. Here, they enrich the soil and spark a resurgence of aquatic life. In these reborn waters, life begins to flourish. Small fish and invertebrates feed on the bounty carried downstream, while migratory species return from distant lands. Drawn by the promise of breeding in the nutrient-rich freshwater ecosystems of the Baltic rivers and lakes. Under the soft light of spring, these once silent waterways transform into vibrant, living masterpieces, each drop a painter's stroke in nature's grand renewal. The pulse of life returns. Spring breathes energy back into the land, signaling a new cycle filled with promise, vitality, and relentless movement. As ice gives way, rivers gain strength and flow with renewed energy. Estonia's largest waterfall, Jõgala, east of Tallinn, thunders once again in a powerful, majestic cascade. Further south, Latvia's Venta River stirs with spectacle. Home to Europe's widest waterfall, it becomes a proving ground for fish like the resilient Vimba bream. Each spring, they attempt the impossible, leaping up the 1.5-meter-high falls in their determination to spawn. It is a scene of raw endurance and natural wonder. And the rivers do not only carry fish. Migratory birds follow these ancient paths, returning to wetlands and meadows reawakened by the spring thaw. As water levels recede, moist grasslands emerge, lush with hidden insects and seeds. Here, after their long journeys, the birds find what they need: shelter, sustenance, and the perfect place to breed. In spring, the Baltic becomes a vibrant crossroads where life converges. Fish, birds, insects, and plants all responding to the changing rhythms of the season. It is a grand, living tapestry that celebrates the enduring power of renewal. Among the returning water birds is the Eurasian coot, also known as the common or Australian coot. Now, as the last of the ice retreats, these hardy birds reappear in the fresh and brackish waters of the region. With food sources once again abundant, the breeding season begins in earnest. The waters come alive with movement, calls, and the quiet labor of nest building, another chapter in the Baltic story of resilience and rebirth. As spring unfurls across the Baltic wetlands, another striking figure emerges, the mute swan, a living symbol of grace and majesty. With its pure white plumage, elegant curved neck, and vivid orange bill, it glides across lakes and marshes like a vision of serenity. This is the season of renewal, and mute swans begin the delicate work of nesting. Preferring shallow, undisturbed locations, riverbanks, reed beds, or small islands, they build their massive nests from grasses, reeds, and leaves. These structures are more than nests. They are fortresses, protecting their precious eggs from predators and the elements. Often reused across multiple seasons, they represent the swan's deep connection to their chosen territory. The male swan, or cob, plays an active role in defense, warding off threats with surprising intensity, even from other birds or nearby humans. After an incubation period of 35 to 42 days, the eggs hatch. Downy gray cygnets emerge, small and fragile, yet already ready to swim under the watchful gaze of both parents. In the weeks that follow, the young are nurtured with unwavering care. For 3 to 4 months, they remain close to the family unit, growing in strength and independence. Eventually, they take to the waters alone, graceful heirs to one of the Baltic's most elegant species. Each decade, Alaska's sea ice area has shrunk by an average of 13%. In the summer of 2023, sea ice levels reached their lowest point in recorded history, according to NOAA, a stark warning of the rapidly changing Arctic ecosystem. Once a safe haven and hunting ground for polar bears and seals, the shrinking ice forces these animals to migrate farther, swim longer, and face dwindling food supplies. Further north, what was once considered stable land is now collapsing. In Utqiagvik, temperatures have risen by approximately 4 degrees Fahrenheit compared to the average of the previous decade, according to the Alaska Climate Research Center. As permafrost melts, deep pits form in the ground, turning once solid terrain into unpredictable sinkholes. Caribou and musk oxen, which depend on the vast tundra, now struggle as their habitat diminishes, disrupting the delicate balance of the Arctic ecosystem. Beneath the ocean, another crisis unfolds. Warmer seawater is altering the habitats of fish and invertebrates, adding new challenges to an already fragile food chain. Survival in Alaska is no longer just about hunting and escaping predators. It has become an unending battle of adaptation. Species must adjust or face extinction as the pressures of climate change intensify, fueled not just by natural forces, but also by human activity. Alaska is home to more than 1,000 vertebrate species, over 30 marine mammal species, and more than 500 bird species, including migratory and seabirds. Together, they contribute to the vibrant ecosystem woven through the mountains, ice, and waterways. The polar bear, an iconic symbol of the Arctic, is struggling as its habitat and hunting grounds rapidly shrink. As the largest bear species and the world's biggest land carnivore, Adult males can weigh up to 1,760 pounds. Though they live on land, polar bears rely heavily on sea ice for survival, classifying them as marine mammals. Their dependence on the Arctic marine ecosystem makes them particularly vulnerable to climate change. A 4-inch thick layer of blubber beneath their skin insulates them against extreme cold, while their black skin, hidden beneath their dense white fur, helps absorb the limited Arctic sunlight. Their large, webbed paws make them powerful swimmers, allowing them to navigate icy waters in search of prey. Currently, Alaska is the only place in the United States where polar bears can be found, with an estimated population of 4,000 to 7,000 individuals. Some inhabit areas near the Bering Land Bridge National Preserve and the Cape Krusenstern National Monument, where the last stretches of wild Arctic terrain provide a fragile sanctuary. Polar bears are master hunters of seals, particularly ringed and bearded seals. They rely on sea ice as a platform for hunting, patiently waiting near breathing holes where seals surface for air. When a seal appears, the bear strikes swiftly, using the seal's blubber as a critical energy source to sustain them through the harsh winters. However, Arctic sea ice is melting at an unprecedented rate. The summer of 2023 recorded the lowest ice levels in history, forcing polar bears to travel farther and swim longer in search of food, sometimes covering tens or even hundreds of miles across open water. Although they can swim continuously for over 60 miles to find sea ice or prey, prolonged journeys increase the risk of exhaustion, energy depletion, and malnutrition, further threatening their survival. As hunting on ice becomes increasingly difficult, polar bears are forced to adapt to less effective food sources, such as scavenging whale carcasses or preying on seabird eggs. Their extraordinary sense of smell allows them to detect whale remains from up to 20 miles away. However, these inconsistent food sources do not provide the high-calorie intake necessary to sustain their massive bodies, especially during winter when their energy demands peak. Scientists warn that within a few decades, some areas of the Arctic may become entirely ice-free during the summer. Without stable ice flows to hunt seals, polar bears face the looming threat of extinction. As their natural habitat deteriorates, many bears are moving farther inland, searching for alternative food sources, such as seabirds and small mammals. However, life on land is not a viable long-term solution. These food sources are insufficient to sustain them, increasing the risk of starvation. The proximity of polar bears to human settlements is also rising, leading to more frequent and potentially dangerous encounters. Hungry and desperate bears are more likely to scavenge near villages, increasing human-wildlife conflicts. According to NOAA, such encounters rose by 15% in 2023. Meanwhile, human activities including oil fishing, commercial fishing, and Arctic tourism continue to encroach on polar bear habitats, further cutting down their struggle for survival. Polar bears are facing an increasingly fragile future, caught between the vanishing ice and a world that is rapidly changing around them. When winter arrives, they return south, completing an annual cycle that traverses icy landscapes and untamed wilderness. Caribou can travel an astonishing 2,000 miles annually, with some individuals covering even greater distances. Scientists have documented a female caribou from the western Arctic herd migrating as far as 2,700 miles, one of the longest recorded land migrations of any terrestrial mammal. This endless journey is the rhythm of life for the caribou, a vital species in the Arctic ecosystem. Caribou are resilient creatures, uniquely adapted to the harsh environments of the Arctic and subarctic. Their thick coats provide insulation against extreme cold, keeping them warm even in frigid temperatures. Their long, strong legs allow them to move efficiently across ice-covered and snow-packed terrain, enabling them to traverse hundreds of miles of challenging landscapes. In summer, they graze on grasses, lichens, and tundra plants. In winter, when the ground is buried beneath snow, caribou use their wide, sharp hooves to dig through the snow in search of lichens, a crucial winter food source. Their survival depends on their ability to locate and access these hidden nutrients beneath the frozen surface. However, rapid climate change is creating unprecedented challenges for caribou. Winters arriving earlier or lasting longer than expected make it harder for them to find food. One particularly dangerous phenomenon, known as icing, occurs when rain falls and then freezes into a hard layer of ice, making it nearly impossible for caribou to reach the lichens beneath. In addition, wildfires, although historically rare in the Arctic tundra, have begun destroying fruticose lichens, another critical winter food source. Reports from 2023 indicate a 15% decline in caribou populations in some areas, partially due to food shortages. Shifting weather patterns have also accelerated migration, forcing caribou to travel greater distances in search of suitable grazing land. Some herds now travel up to 50 miles per day, and in certain years, caribou have been observed crossing 35 miles of sea ice in the Kotzebue Sound to reach safer terrain. Historically, the first snowfall and dropping temperatures signaled the start of migration, but caribou are now adjusting their behavior. If they encounter warmer temperatures or snowless areas, they slow their pace and remain in one place longer. Over the past 3 decades, caribou have been migrating later in the fall, a trend that is expected to continue as Arctic temperatures rise. In the frozen world of the Arctic and subarctic regions of Alaska, the caribou's struggle for survival reflects the larger challenges facing wildlife in a rapidly changing environment. Their extraordinary journey, once shaped by predictable seasonal rhythms, is now becoming increasingly uncertain in the face of climate change. In an environment where temperatures can drop below -50 Fahrenheit, the Arctic fox thrives as a true symbol of resilience in the Arctic and subarctic. Its thick, specially insulated fur is one of nature's marvels, providing exceptional warmth in extreme cold. During winter, its white coat serves as perfect camouflage against the snowy landscape, making it nearly invisible to both prey and predators. The Arctic fox is an omnivore with a highly adaptable hunting strategy, allowing it to survive the harsh conditions of the Arctic. In the summer, when food is more abundant, its diet includes seabirds, eggs, insects, and even berries when available. However, in the unforgiving winter months, its primary food source shifts to lemmings and other small rodents, which are crucial for survival. Despite its adaptability, the Arctic fox is increasingly facing survival challenges due to climate change. The decline in prey populations, driven by shrinking sea ice and shifting ecosystems, has forced Arctic foxes to travel farther in search of food, expending more energy during each hunting trip. Additionally, their ecological environment is changing as larger shrubs begin to replace the smaller native vegetation they rely on. Some Arctic foxes are being pushed farther inland in search of food into environments that are less ideal for their survival. Another significant threat comes from the red fox, a larger and stronger competitor that is migrating northward due to warming Arctic temperatures. This increasing competition for food and habitat has placed additional pressure on the smaller Arctic fox. In 2023, research showed a decline in Arctic fox populations in many areas, particularly in regions where their habitats have been drastically altered by climate change. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the Arctic fox is losing critical habitat and food sources at an alarming rate, threatening its long-term survival. The muskox is a powerful symbol of strength and resilience, perfectly adapted to the extreme Arctic environment. Its thick, double-layered coat provides exceptional insulation against the harsh cold. The outer layer, long and coarse, like a heavy jacket, shields the animal from biting Arctic winds, while the soft inner wool, called kiviot, is one of nature's finest insulators, far surpassing even sheep's wool. Thanks to this remarkable adaptation, muskoxen can endure temperatures below -40 degrees Fahrenheit without flinching. During the harsh winter months, when snow blankets the ground, muskoxen use their powerful hooves and heads to break through the frozen layers, searching for grasses, lichens, and small shrubs buried beneath. Their strength and adaptability are vital for survival in such an unforgiving landscape. But the true strength of the muskox extends beyond its physical adaptations. When faced with predators like wolves or bears, the herd instinctively forms a defensive circle, with the young sheltered at the center, while the adults stand at the perimeter, ready to defend with their strong curved horns. This united front is one of their most effective survival strategies. Unlike caribou, muskoxen do not migrate over long distances, but they do travel short ranges of about 15 to 30 miles in search of food. In winter, they rely on sparse vegetation hidden beneath the snow, while in the brief Arctic summer, when the sun shines nearly 24 hours a day, competition for mates begins. Mature males, weighing up to 800 pounds, engage in fierce battles, clashing their massive horns to determine the dominant bull. These dramatic collisions create thunderous echoes across the tundra, reminiscent of icebergs crashing in the distance. In spring, as the ice begins to thaw and fresh grasses emerge, calves are born, ensuring they have access to the most abundant food of the year. However, changing climate conditions pose new challenges for muskoxen. Increasingly frequent icing events, where rain falls and freezes into a thick, impenetrable layer, prevent them from reaching food buried beneath the snow. In 2023, the rise in such events led to significant losses among herds, as many muskoxen were unable to break through the ice to feed. Beyond ice, rising temperatures are altering Arctic vegetation. Larger shrubs and fast-growing grasses are spreading, outcompeting the smaller plants like lichens that muskoxen depend on in winter. As a result, herds must travel greater distances in search of food, expending critical energy in an already demanding environment. For these rugged survivors, every day in the Arctic remains a relentless battle for survival.